A few weeks ago, I picked up a book. This book, subhanAllah, was absolutely amazing, and I just finished reading it a couple of days ago. The book is called Famous People Who Committed Suicide. All it is a list and the stories of famous people who've committed suicide. People who come from all different parts of society. I was reading about writers, I was reading about actors, actresses, musicians, politicians, religious people, of course, who are not Muslim, all types of people. And their story was different at the beginning and in the middle, but at the end, it was the same story for everybody. A story of actually taking away your own soul, killing yourself. What they were doing, my dear brothers and sisters, if we contemplate on this issue, is that they weren't killing their bodies. That was what was apparent to us when we saw a person hanging, or a person who threw himself out of the window, or a person who put a gun inside of his mouth and shot himself. The apparent thing that came out to the police, or came out to me and you if we saw pictures of these people, or we heard their stories, is that these people killed their bodies. But in reality, what they were trying to kill inside of themselves was not their bodies. It was their souls. It was their souls, not their bodies. See, my dear brothers and sisters, scholars say that a human being is made of three main components, okay? A human being is made of three components. The first component is the body, the second component is the mind, and the third component is the soul. And every single person has this longing to feed and fulfill the desires of these three components, whether they're good desires or whether they are bad desires. SubhanAllah. So you have the body, the mind, and the soul. All of us, alhamdulillah, fulfill the desires of the body, and the two main desires of the body are as follows: food and drink, number one, and the second thing is a relationship between a man and a woman, inshallah, in the halal. Now the mind, the most important thing that you need to find to feed the mind with is food. What kind of food? Knowledge. This is the type of food that comes for the mind. And the soul, my dear brothers and sisters, is what these famous people were trying to kill inside of themselves. They were trying to kill their soul because it was hungry and they couldn't feed it. And feeding it is through the obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's through reciting the Quran. It's through memorizing the Quran. It's through contemplating on the meanings of the Quran and the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and any act of obedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.